Did you really think I wouldn't do a bonus episode about the Cameron Boozer pick at number 3 overall in this draft? We're going to have some fun. Let's lock in.
You are Locked On Grizzlies, your daily Memphis Grizzlies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cameron Boozer, a member of the Memphis Grizzlies, selected at number 3 overall in the 2026 NBA draft. It's a beautiful thing, and it's beautiful to be here with you on this bonus edition of Locked On Grizzlies. I am your host, Joe Mullinax. Going to be quick. Got lots more work to do. Obviously, the first round rumbles forward. The Memphis Grizzlies will be on the clock again before you know it. But I did want to take this time to shout out Cameron Boozer, who for me from the beginning has been the number one guy on my board. And he is now a member of the Memphis Grizzlies. Will he wear number 12? That's a great question. I'm not so sure about that. Obviously, there's plenty that needs to be done on that front in terms of the roster. And we'll continue to talk about all of those things here on Locked On Grizzlies. But regardless of the number he wears, I'll tell you what Cameron Boozer is going to do. He's going to be a freaking winner for the Memphis Grizzlies. And that is exactly what this franchise needs. He is going to be that cornerstone, that pillar that you can rely on. Somebody who has been asked to be a professional since before he could drive a car legally in the United States of America. We're talking about someone not quite LeBron-esque by any stretch, whether it's athleticism or the attention. LeBron was on Sports Illustrated, the chosen one from the beginning. Not that intense. But in this era of basketball, when it comes to the AAU circuit, EYBL, when it comes to high school, the fact that he was the son of an NBA player, Cameron Boozer has been on the radar of NBA scouts for a half decade now. All the way back to when he was 13, 14 years old, coming up through the ranks. And everywhere he's been, what has Cameron Boozer done? He has won. He has been a winner. And the Memphis Grizzlies need winners. They badly need winners. They need somebody to come in and set the tone from a professionalism standpoint, from an intensity standpoint. And I love that in so much of the media availability leading up to that selection, Cameron Boozer was telling people they will regret if they don't pick me number 1. AJ DeBensta goes number 1 overall to Washington. Darren Peterson goes number 2 to the Utah Jazz. Cameron Boozer's there for the Memphis Grizzlies, and now he's pissed off. Now he's got a chip on his shoulder. And what does Memphis, Tennessee love more than a member of one of their sports teams coming in pissed off with a chip on their shoulder? There ain't much, folks. There ain't much more that sounds and screams of Memphis, Tennessee than the jilted, angry, ready to prove people wrong mentality. And Cameron Boozer has the skill set to do it. We're talking about a 3-level scorer. We're talking about a guy that shot 39% from 3 in college on 3.6 shot attempts per game. We're talking about somebody who is a dominant rebounder. You want to know who has the best rebounding front court in the National Basketball Association, or at the very least top 5 going into the next season? The Memphis Grizzlies. Zach Edey, 7'4", 290 pounds. Cameron Boozer, 6'10", 250 pounds. We are talking legitimate size. We are talking strength. We are talking mentality and toughness that this dude has that, frankly, this combination of basketball skill and mental basketball IQ, we have not seen in a long time. And I'll do you one better, folks. Sometimes it really is this easy. ESPN or ABC showed this graphic on their broadcast. Freshman to win the J.R. Wooden Award for college basketball's most outstanding player. Since 2007, here's the list. Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Zion Williamson, Cooper Flagg, and Cameron Boozer. Newly of the Memphis Grizzlies, Cameron Boozer. People were overthinking this all along. Not me. Cameron Boozer's been number 1 on my board all along. And that doesn't mean I don't like DeBensta. I don't like Peterson. I stand by what I said about Caleb Wilson. Congratulations to him going to the Chicago Bulls. Good on him. I think he's going to do well in Chicago. But the fact remains, folks, Cameron Boozer is now and always should have been number one on the board for the Memphis Grizzlies. He doesn't need to be an elite athletic jumper. We'll talk about all the reasons why on our full episode that'll drop later Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. He doesn't need to be that guy. I don't care that he can't jump 40 inches out of the gym. You know who else can't do that? Guys like Nikola Jokic, guys like Luka Doncic, guys like SGA. 3 of the top 5 basketball players on the planet, arguably, can barely jump over a textbook. So why is this being prioritized so heavily when evaluating someone who all he has done is win everywhere he's gone? A miracle shot away from the Final Four at Duke. And this is somebody that facilitates offense at all 3 levels. He can score in the post. He can score in the mid-range, can hit the 3, as we were talking about a moment ago. He's an elite facilitator of offense. The Memphis Grizzlies might go point guard later on in the draft. The Memphis Grizzlies might go in a completely, entirely different direction. Ja Morant's situation. We're still trying to figure out what's going on there. There are so many questions that still need to be answered and may be answered by the time you've watched or listened to this condensed bonus episode of the podcast. But the reality is this: so many of those questions have been answered in the here and now through Cameron Boozer. This is somebody who his usage rate was almost 30%, according to Tankathon.com, and still had an elite assist to usage ratio. And this is for a 6'9.5" big man. Oh, and by the way, we're concerned about his vertical. It was a 35-inch vert at the 2026 NBA Combine. No, that's not, jumping out of the gym forever and ever, amen. But it's not like we're talking about somebody that has a complete and total lack of vertical ability. Caleb Wilson jumped 4.5 inches higher than Cameron Boozer. So many of these concerns, they were manufactured. They were something that, because he doesn't have an aesthetically pleasing game, it's the Kyrie Irving effect, to be honest with you. Why is Kyrie Irving so popular? Because he has an aesthetically pleasing game, and he was one of the best number 2 guys in the history of basketball scoring the ball. I think Ebu on X talked about that. Big New York Knicks fan, professional wrestling guy. One of the truest things I've ever read on that platform. Kyrie Irving has an aesthetically pleasing game. So does Caleb Wilson. And Kyrie Irving's a heck of a basketball player. So is Caleb Wilson. Nobody watched Tim Duncan. I remember watching Tim Duncan, thinking that is the most beautiful brand of basketball I have ever watched in my life. Watch that guy shoot the bank shot. Look at how he fundamentally plays the game. If you're a sicko like me, maybe you felt that way. But that's not somebody that you compare to Kyrie Irving in terms of the aesthetically pleasing functions of basketball. Cameron Boozer is similar in that way. And you know what? When you can compare somebody to Tim freaking Duncan that plays the 4 position, as terms of their skill set, Duncan's a much better defender. But in terms of that winning mentality, in terms of the professionalism, the way that he carries himself, the way that he's going to apply that Duncan mindset of fundamentals to the offensive end, we are going to see something that we haven't seen in Memphis, Tennessee in some time. This is going to be a team that is built from the inside out. And no, they're not going to be above the rim, Grizz next gen, alley-oops from Ja Morant to the late, great Brandon Clark. We're not going to see those kinds of things in this iteration more often than not. But you know what we're going to see, in my opinion, led by Cameron Boozer? Fundamentally sound, well-executed basketball. And you know what happens when you play fundamentally sound, well-executed basketball? You win. You win, and you win, and you win, and you win some more. And that's not just an opinion. That's not just a prediction. That is what Cameron Boozer has done from the jump of his basketball career in the eyes of the basketball world. With all the attention that comes from being the son of a former NBA All-Star, he has done everything to prove that he is worthy of the load that the Memphis Grizzlies are going to ask him to carry as a franchise pillar. I am excited, and you should be too. Hopefully, you're as fired up as I am for this pick. This special edition of Locked On Grizzlies brought to you by KALSHI. The World Cup is here, and it's the most electric time in soccer. On KALSHI, you can trade every single match and the championship game. You can trade at a certain probability, meaning payouts are based off of certain percentages if they win. And as the World Cup heats up, those numbers move in real time, and you can buy in and out at any time. On KALSHI, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the KALSHI app and use the code LOCKEDON to get $10 when you trade 10, KALSHI, KALSHI, trade on anything. 18 and older only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. This special episode of Locked On Grizzlies also brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. There are certain flavors that instantly feel like summer. For a lot of people, it's classic red, white, and blue freezer pops. They're right at the top of that list with the sweet cherry, the delicious lime, the blue raspberry. It's one of those nostalgic summer flavors that everybody recognizes. And now 5 Hour Energy is bringing that flavor combination into the new Firework Freeze 5 Hour Energy shot, blending sweet cherry, zesty lime, and electric blue raspberry into one refreshing shot inspired by those iconic summer freeze pops. Most energy drinks kind of blur together after a while, right? But this one stands out because it feels like it's fun and familiar. The cherry, the lime, the blue raspberry combination really tastes like summer. Ignite your taste buds with the flavor of the summer. Get a Firework Freeze 5 Hour Energy shot today. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com. This episode of Locked On Grizzlies also brought to you by Indeed. Big fan of Indeed. You should be as well. Workplace chaos can show up fast. That's where Indeed Sponsored Jobs comes in. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach candidates who actually fit what you're looking for based on skills, experience, and location. Finding the right person can make all the difference, whether it's building a business or building a winning team. Some of the best moves an organization can make aren't always the splashiest ones. It literally just happened, folks. Cameron Boozer. It's the guy who fits exactly what the team needs in the right moment. That is what is standing out to me with this pick. Same idea behind Indeed Sponsored Jobs, helping connect organizations with candidates who are the right fit from the start. Spend less time searching, more time actually interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes, less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, it's a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and get a $75 sponsored job credit to help your job get the premium status that it deserves. Again, Indeed.com/podcast, Indeed.com/podcast. Make sure you let them know that you heard about it, supporting our show, saying you heard about Indeed on Locked On Grizzlies. Terms and conditions apply. Indeed.com/podcast. Need to hire. This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. This is just a bonus episode. I will be back with a full-blown show recapping everything that the Grizzlies did in the first round, previewing round 2, and so much more. Make sure you're with us on the next full-length edition of Locked On Grizzlies. Until then, I'm Joe Mullinax. Follow me on X at Joe Mullinax. Stick with Locked On Grizzlies. More content to come as the draft carries on. Have a good one. See you soon. Peace.